Today we're gonna make broccoli cheddar soup. I love this one. I hope the taste testers love it as much as I do. First thing we'll talk about is the broccoli. I used 2 heads. I chopped that up and I just wanna show you the bottom like inch and a half, you should chop away and discard or use it for like a vegetable stock, but you don't wanna use it for this. It's very fibrous. The rest of the stem, this part here, you absolutely can use it. And you could shave off the end if you want, but all of this is edible. So I'm just gonna chop this up too. We have about 6 or 7 cups here. So that's 2 heads, that's what it translates into. And we're gonna roast about half of it, maybe 1/3 of it. Just wanna use that for a topping on the soup. As far as like the aromatics, we have onion, and that was like 1 really large onion. So recipe only calls for a medium onion, which translates into about 1 cup. 2 medium carrots, or 1 cup of carrots. These are both diced. 3 cloves of garlic minced, 4 tablespoons of butter, which is 60 grams of butter. And then we have a 1/4 cup of flour, 1 1/4 cup of heavy cream. You can use a little bit more of this, a little bit less. You could probably use half and half too, or milk. And then we have 8 ounces of cheddar, which is about 2 cups. And then finally, we have 3.5 cups of low sodium chicken stock. So this is gonna be the liquid for the soup. It's a really simple soup. If you could find a bread bowl, it would be perfect. We tried to find it in a few stores today, just couldn't find it. So we'll be serving it in bowls. I do think that little roasted broccoli topping and a little bit of the extra cheese is really nice, but you don't have to do that. Let's get to roasting that broccoli right now. So I have a roasting pan right here, and we're gonna use about half of it. What do you think? You think that's enough?
You don't want to overcrowd the pan.
Yeah, that's good. I have my oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm putting my rack at the lower third of the oven. I'm gonna put some olive oil on these, not too much. I don't wanna have too much oil in my soup. We'll put a little salt and pepper on them. Just get your hands in there, right? Because that'll help everything get on there, like all the salt and everything. So I'm gonna spread them out because I want them to kind of get really brown, towards blackish in the oven. 425 degrees. After about 10 minutes, go to them, maybe flip them over, maybe we'll bring it up to the top and broil it at the end. We just want to get it nice and toasty. This is a 6.5 quart Dutch oven. You can do something probably almost half of this size because we're only putting in maybe a little bit more than 1/4 of liquid. So you will probably be able to fit this in a 4-quart Dutch oven. So this is plenty big. I'm gonna heat it up to medium heat. All right, and I'm gonna put my butter in and just let it melt, or don't even wait for it to melt, it'll be fine. And put the onion in and the carrot. We just want to soften these up before we get to the rest of the soup. So this has been going for about 5 minutes now, and that's good enough. It does, you don't have to go crazy here. I have the garlic. Gonna put this in for like 1 minute and just let it get fragrant. So Tara, the other thing you were asking, what about the wine, like the order, flour, wine? Do I put flour in first, guys, when I'm making a roux here, and it's just a quick thing, or do I put the wine in first? Do you think it matters? It doesn't, it's not gonna have any difference on the final results. If you want any wine in it, and we're gonna put a little bit in, it's gonna add to the flavor. Wine makes everything better, it really does. I'm just gonna add about 1/2 cup right now. Just gonna turn up my heat a little bit, probably to about a 7, and we're just gonna boil most of this out. And then we will add our flour in, and we're gonna make our roux in the reverse order. I could have put the flour in first and then added the wine. It's not gonna have any material effect in the end on this. You can see the majority of the liquid is out of here, so I'm gonna put the flour in. And I'm just gonna cook this flour until it gets golden. It's only gonna take like 30 seconds, not long at all. Just try to get it all evenly distributed. Try to get it coated with the vegetables. So that's it, guys. That's coated, it's fine. Now you can put your chicken stock in, and I have 3.5 cups of it. You could also put your broccoli in first and saute it a little bit, but you don't have to. We're just gonna get our broccoli completely soft by cooking it in here. Okay. Probably I should have just scraped a little bit more off the bottom of the pot there, but we're gonna do it now anyway, and we're gonna bring this up to a boil. You can see it's very thick. See that already? That's just from the roux and the 3.5 cups of chicken stock. So what I'm gonna do now is lower this down to a simmer. So about a 5, maybe no, more like a 4 to 3 out of 10. And we just wanna let this simmer, and we want the broccoli to get really nice and tender before we add our cream and cheese in. Now that roasted broccoli is probably done. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So guys, I used a little too much broccoli, more broccoli than the recipe calls for in here, so I'm a little too thick. All I'm gonna do is just thin it out with a little bit of water. This is warm water. I'm gonna put in about 3/4 cup right now, just to give me enough for the simmering. The only reason it's warm is because if I put the cold in here right now, then I'd have to wait an extra 5 minutes for it to get back up to temperature again. How good does this smell right now?
The smell is just out of this world.
Why? Because of...
It's the wine I'm smelling. I mean,
the wine just makes everything better, guys, and it's just a simple thing. It's been exactly 20 minutes. The broccoli is fairly soft. You know, some pieces like this are a little bit hard. Most of them are fairly soft. We can use the immersion blender, which will mix it up more and, you know, break it down more. Make it a little bit easier for it to cook for that last 5 minutes. Just put it in and just gently go with it. I'm just gonna go over those big pieces and just kind of break them up. That little bit that I did there, you see this? How now it's like completely blended together. What do you want, Tara? Do you want me to do it a lot more now or what? You really like it like that, right?
I do, but I like also some texture.
Well, we have the roasted broccoli as well.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, if you do the roasted broccoli, you can puree this completely and then you will still have the different textures in it. So that's what it looks like now, guys. Before we move on to putting the cream and the cheese in and finishing this up and getting the taste testers in here, let's taste it now and just make sure that broccoli is tender enough. That is good without any cream or cheese in yet, just with the wine and the carrot and onion. But we're gonna make it better. I mean, we are. The broccoli was a little hard there, so I'm gonna let this cook for about 5 more minutes before I go on to the cream. And I'm probably just gonna put a tiny bit more water in there. Don't go overboard with the water now. I used more broccoli than the recipe calls for. But don't worry about going overboard with it because at the end, if it's too thick, you could just add a little bit more water in right before you serve. That was 5 more minutes. Just make sure you keep stirring the bottom as it cooks. You know, with the little burner here, the little flame, it will tend to just want to stick. Right here, I have 1 1/4 cup of cream and I have the cheddar cheese that we grated before. And I'll save that little bit to put on the top. So we're just gonna mix this through here. We're just gonna let it cook till we get a nice smooth consistency. I tasted for salt before. It doesn't need any more salt. It does need a good amount of pepper. The other thing is nutmeg. So I love nutmeg in this. I'm gonna use a little less than 1/2 teaspoon to start, and then we can just build up from there. But you gotta be careful with nutmeg. You can overpower something. Not saying a thing to them. So let's let them start tasting right away. They have their cards. We're gonna do the scoring system that we've been doing in probably, at this point, you probably have seen it a number of times. Though my videos are filmed out of order, so sometimes you won't see it, even with newer ones to come.
Oh my god, it's really good.
Yes!
I don't usually like soup, but like this is like different.
Yeah.
It's like creamy.
Can't say I make this one a lot, guys. Probably made it up like 2 or 3 times in my life for the family. It's a very popular one because I think Panera always has it on the menu, and probably like some other chains do too. Little tasting notes, what do we got here?
well, I was gonna say, this actually reminds me of the one that they have at the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
Where they serve it in a bread bowl. And it's one of my favorites.
Yes, we were looking for a bread bowl. I think I mentioned it earlier, couldn't find it. James, what are tasting notes, anything? I'm not gonna look.
Well, it's like really creamy, it's crunchy. It's just like, and those are like the 2 best textures.
Oh yeah, well you're talking about the texture, guys, because this is what I did as well. And that goes on top of it. You can roast it in the time that it takes to make the soup.
The taste of it, like, it's just like different from like normal soup, and it's really good. I like creamy soup.
All right, well I'm feeling good about this one. Unlike some of the more recent ones where he really went after me. Called my soup dry in one episode, a couple episodes back.
Lemon chicken
orzo. He called it dry.
Is that the one he said it was very mid?
Yeah, mid. Yeah. James, let me have it. What do we got?
So I was gonna give it a 9.5, but I added a 2 because I don't think it fully deserves a 9.5.
What did it get?
9.25.
9.25? All right, we're gonna round down to a 9. I thought you were crossing out and raising to a 10. What did I get, Mama? 10. Yes. Yes.
You know what? I'll give it 9.75.
So I gave it a 10 because I don't really think that there's anything you could do to improve it other than serve it in a bread bowl.
Yes.
But that's not the recipe.
Before,
so I
Yeah.
That's right. The shrimp scampi roll's got an 11. I think it's perfect. I think it's better than Panera.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that says it all. Take a breath. Take a breath.